Hey there, Gemstones. So these last couple weeks have been different for me. The last week especially has been, I guess the nicest way to put it would be horrendous. It was quite a doozy, topsy-turvy, a mess at best that I was dealing with. And last night I realized it was because I was giving attention to all of those things that kept happening. And I was getting sucked in to that information that just kept repeating itself. It was like a broken track. It just kept skipping it right back to the same icky part of an icky song that just did not sing to my soul and felt grotesque, and I didn't want to deal with, but I was giving my attention to that, and that's why that kept happening, and it kept getting worse because of that. The more you give your attention to it, the more it comes back to you. And that's my lesson for this week. What you give your attention to is what gives its attention back to you, and the more you give your attention to it, the more substantial it becomes. So if you're wanting to attract something that you enjoy, then give your attention to the enjoyment of the thing. If you're giving your attention to the enjoyment of the thing from a perspective of not experiencing it and not enjoying it, then guess what? That non-enjoyment experience is going to keep happening. I was giving my attention to having to deal with really abrasive and uncooperative people and situations, and I don't want to deal with it anymore. I want it to be over. But I was giving the attention from this perspective of, I'm dealing with the abrasiveness and I don't want to deal with it. I'm dealing with the abrasiveness and I don't want to deal with it. People are annoying. People are uncooperative. People are grumpy and in bad moods, and that's what kept happening. I was dealing with people that were in grumpy and bad moods and acting irresponsible and not holding themselves accountable, and that just kept on happening, and I had to keep on picking up the slack for other people, and I was sick of having to pick up the slack for other people and giving my attention to having to pick up the slack for other people, and that is what kept happening. And then last night I had the moment of enough is effing enough. I do not have to pick up the slack for other people. I do not have to give my attention to picking up the slack for other people. I do not have to give my attention or have to deal with uncooperative or abrasive people. I do not have to be frustrated. I do not have to deal with situations that are frustrating. I'm dealing with them because I choose to give my attention to them. But if I stop giving my attention to those things, they won't happen. So I started giving my attention to things being more cooperative, things being more at ease, things being a bit softer and kinder. And I woke up this morning and there was still an abrasive situation that had taken place, but it didn't bother me as much. It didn't get to me as much. I was able to get things done without feeling like I was picking up the slack for someone else. I was able to work through the things that were frustrating me without actually getting sucked into that frustration. And I was able to focus my attention more on the things that I wanted to happen, that I wanted to take place, that felt good to me. And guess what happened? Good things started happening. A really dear friend of mine posted a video. She broke out of her shell and posted her personal experience that she had of turning negatives into positives and the impact that it had. And I was like, my gosh, that's just absolute perfection for what I'm wanting for myself right now. Of trying to focus on the things that I'm grateful for, the things that I have right now that are working in my favor, the things that I'm really wanting to happen for myself, and looking at those things from a perspective of I am working toward them right now. I am making those things happen, and it feels good to know that I'm making those things happen, that I'm working toward them, that is a reachable goal. It feels amazing. And her video of speaking about focusing on, okay, what am I grateful for that's going to help me get through right now? let's focus on the positives, focus on the positives, focus on the positives. And even when negative situations happened, they didn't get to her as much. And then the day ended up getting better, and good things were happening, and more good things were happening, and more good things were happening. The substance was building and building and building until the point where she had to share it. And she shared it, and it was beautiful and inspiring, and I ended up coming back, and I did post a video earlier, and I decided, you know what, scratch that. I'm doing a new one. So I'm doing this one now of I chose to give my attention to good things that happened to me, and good things came back to me. That is, to me, that is the real karma. I sent out the vibes that I wanted to experience, and those vibrations came back into me. And I saw the evidence of the things that I wanted to experience, and the things that I didn't want to experience started fading out gently and kindly and lovingly. And now I'm sitting here making this video and kind of rambling on a little bit, but I'm feeling much better. Much, much better than I did 24 hours ago, dealing with frustrating, grumpy people, even having to go as far as practically yelling at them. Not fun, not nice. To now, at this moment, I'm feeling much more relaxed and much more at ease, and like I've released a whole bunch of gunk that I'd been holding on to and pulling in and substantiating, and like I can breathe and move forward, and that the present feels amazing. So my advice is focus on what you want to bring into your experience. Are you wanting to bring in the lack of joy? Or are you wanting to bring in the presence of joy? Are you wanting to bring in the feeling of stability? Or are you wanting to bring in that feeling of instability? Are you wanting to turn those negatives into positives? Or are you going to keep giving attention to the things that keep happening that you don't want to happen? It's all that matter of perspective, of what you give your attention to. It all comes back to the steps in the law of attraction. First step being self-awareness. You're aware of where you are and where you stand. And the second step being doing something about it. If there are things that you are focusing on and ways that you are responding to the things in your experience that are creating discord or aggravation or abrasiveness or frustration, how can you tweak your own thoughts and responses to help those things fade out and bring good things in? Well, thank you for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you. Hit the like button if you like what I had to say. Leave a comment if you want to get a conversation started. Subscribe if you want to see more of what I have to say. And as always, have a wonderful life.